Hi everyone, Watch It With Kat here, and tonight we are going to watch the movie Krampus together. Krampus is a 2015 movie. I think it was rated PG-13. I've only seen it once, so a lot of this will be as new to me as it is to you, because I basically remember nothing about the movie except Krampus and one of his elves or toys or something, and in the ending. But so it'll be an adventure for both of us. It's about, human time is so weird, 1 hour 38 minutes, something like that. And it's about a boy who believed in Christmas and had a really sucky Christmas, and then was like, screw Christmas, and apparently that's enough to get Krampus to appear in your home and destroy your family. Again, I don't get it, but because that would seem to destroy the vast majority of families in the world. But whatevs. Shout out to Toni Collette, the always awesome, and also to Krista Stadler, who plays the grandmother Omi, and to Conchata Ferrell, who as Aunt Dorothy is just a pearl, just straight out of National Lampoon's Vacation and Christmas Vacation, which the first half of this movie is honestly a lot like, and then kind of takes off into the horror territory more. But also to the director, Michael Dougherty. He's done, things from Godzilla to, Krampus, but also Trick or Treat, which is one of the best Halloween movies of all time. Definitely check it out. The plot is extraordinary, and you really feel the movie through the demon of the holiday, the character Sam, who just wants the holiday traditions respected. And you can feel his love for the character. The character was created way before the entire story. There are shorts and designs that he fell in love with that character, and the movie came out of that. And so that's where I think his strongest character work comes from, and why that movie works so well. Krampus is a different situation, and so we'll have to see how that works here. So let's take a look at it. Alright, so that was Krampus. Nice little horror comedy with a seasonal touch. For those who are just tuning in for the Cat Chat, it's the story of a dysfunctional family in a dysfunctional world. It basically has the Christmases that everybody hears about, and if they have, actually dreads for the rest of the year, which is, chaos and madness and people not getting along and fights and such. And the little kid, Max, who is firmly holding on to his Christmas beliefs and trying to, still write Santa letters and protect younger kids from knowing the truth and all that, finally gets disillusioned, tears up his Santa letter, throws it in the sky, and somehow or another, that I still have not figured out, calls Krampus down upon his family. He doesn't wish for it, doesn't write a letter to Krampus, doesn't know anything about Krampus, just tears up, throws it, Krampus. Okay. And so then Krampus comes, big snowstorm, isolates them, like very thingish, where they're covered in snow from, house to rooftop, the whole neighborhood. Everybody in the neighborhood is out somewhere, nobody knows where. Half of them are out of town, the other half are, just not around. There's a snowman in the yard nobody built, that kind of thing, and it's just a very isolated feeling, which does work. And they have no Wi-Fi, no telephone, no anything. And they start actually pretty soon after that getting picked off one by Krampus, his elves, and his toys. And then at some point, the kid, Max's grandmother, tells him, oh, yeah, I met Krampus before. It happened with my family back during the war or something. And he left me. He took all my family. And because Krampus takes, he doesn't give. He punishes, he doesn't reward. And he left her with this Krampus spell or something. And which is funny because she pretended not to be able to speak English up until that point. So that was hysterical. But, and they did that in a nice piece of animation. That was really, really nicely done. But, yeah, and so she knows that it's Krampus. She tells them some things to do: keep the fire lit, keep, people on watch, find the missing kids. These are all things that they really should be doing, but aren't. They're just kind of laying around the house, which is weird. And then they get picked off one by one and then dragged off to the question of the ending, which is apparently a debate people have, which to me seems kind of obvious based on the Krampus character, but I can see, people wanting to believe what they believe. We'll get to that in a minute. But Krampus is actually a real creature of folklore, sort of a Central Eastern European folklore. They're kind of an amalgamation of different things from the time period. It's probably pre-Christian and just got kind of incorporated into Christianity, when a new conqueror comes along and their religion is, hey, we're going to bring Christianity to your area, a good way to help people deal with that is to kind of take their pagan religion holidays and turn them into Christian holidays, which, Easter and Christmas and, such have definite elements of their pagan religion influences still there to this day. So Krampus became like an anti-Claus, in working in tandem with Santa, like a shadow Claus. He was basically described as like a kind of half goat, in cloven feet, half man or demon figure that would run around, terrorize kids, hit them with birch sticks or something, throw them in a sack, take them off, eat them, whatever. And they even in some stories had a deal going where, like, Santa Claus would come and reward the good kids and then leave coal with the bad kids. But the coal was supposed to signal Krampus, this is bad kid, so I can take them off and have them for dinner, and that was perfectly fine and very realistic. I think it actually makes more sense to have a good versus evil than a good versus neutral. Like, if you're a kid and you're good, you get presents. If you're a kid and you're bad, you get nothing. You get coal. What is that's not really any punishment. This was more a punishment reward system. It's like, you're good, you get stuff. You're neutral, neither good nor bad, you get nothing. You're bad, you get punished. More kind of how the real world works there, and is more shown in the old-timey days than in the glitzy glam of the modern world, where it's all about selling your kids, good or bad, as much stuff as they could possibly want. But so Krampus was also usually shown wearing chains, which kind of showcased the binding of the pagan religion, the pagan character, by the church and incorporating him into Christianity, which I thought is a nice touch to the character, and kind of its history shown within the character. But anyway, so Krampus is a real myth that people really celebrate, and they do Krampus runs and they dress up as Krampus, and it's this awesome thing in different parts of the world. And the director, Michael Dougherty, he was looking for a project to do a Christmas horror project and couldn't really come up with anything, and then got a postcard or something with Krampus on it and just kind of fell in love with the character, and that's where the film was born. He kind of did the same thing but more intimately with what he's most well known for. I mean, he's done movies like, Godzilla, King of Monsters, and other stuff, but Trick or Treat is really his calling card. He made that movie as classic as Halloween itself. I mean, Halloween the movie and Trick or Treat are two, no misses for any horror fan come Halloween. And if you ask, is this the same thing for Christmas? I'd say no, but I'd say yes, in that, if you're into horror, you're going to watch this every Christmas. If you just get tired, you want to see something different, you're going to watch this or Bad Santa. It's it's not a Christmas must-see, but it's a Christmas, we'll see. We will watch Krampus. My humans will watch Krampus. That's a given. It's just not quite hitting it out of the park like Trick or Treat maybe because he fell in love with the character Sam from Sam Payne, the spirit of Halloween, as portrayed in Trick or Treat, long before the movie was made. And you can feel that love coming off the screen. I mean, he had drawings. He had a short with Sam called Season's Greetings, oddly enough. And, so we were really kind of able to see and feel it through Sam, so that these reprehensible, disposable characters were disposable to us. And, and Sam also had a fair amount of action and screen time as well. And so he was left to be able to weave this brilliant plot of like just synced up stories that it just is so well done. Hats off always to that movie. Here it's not quite woven as tightly, and Krampus isn't quite that character, but it looks great. The soundtrack is great. The cinematography is great. The practical effects are off the chain. These were done by the same people who did Lord of the Rings. I think it's called Wetaworks. Weta Workshop, something like that. They did absolutely awesome effects, mostly practical effects. The toys were horrible and scarring and traumatizing. The only part where I laughed was when they ate the dog, because I'm a cat. But other than that, it was they were very, very well done. Krampus himself was like a 70-pound monster uniform get-up thing that a real person was in and had to kind of, lug around. And there was just such devotion to a lot of the details. It's a shame that we didn't see more of the elves. I kind of was thinking they were going to burst out of the snowmen and wreak havoc and drag them all away, or do more than they did. It relied more on the toys, which... I can see why with a couple, but I would have probably used the elves a little bit more. And with the pacing, it's kind of movie like this is kind of torn between, PG and R. You don't want it to be another one of the like low budget slashers, like there are a bunch of other Krampus movies that cover that, kind of style, and sleigh movies and Christmas horror movies, Silent Night, Deadly Night, all that kind of stuff. And so you don't want it to fall there. But it was just kind of so not a horror movie at all, except for like a little foreboding look every now and then by Grandma, that you really kind of forgot about the horror bit until it suddenly reminded you, because it was so very... It was taking a lot from, or giving homage to, or whatever, the kind of Christmas movies like Christmas Vacation or regular National Lampoon's Vacation, both heavily in the first part. And because the characters were so despicable and we only had Max to kind of pull us through, when Max wasn't there, which was a lot of the time, we were left with these characters that we already had a dislike for, and they would try and humanize them a little bit through, putting them in this situation. But since we already kind of didn't like them, and they didn't handle the situation that well, like by letting kids get taken and not ruthlessly going after them, or really defending the house as well as they should, or just different things that if you like a character you can let slip, but if you don't, it's just you don't like them even more. So it's like it was hard to find a root for kind of character. But again, other than Omi, the grandma, Max's grandma, who went and told her story of when she met Krampus way back in the day, which is the only thing I can think of as to why this kid was able to call Krampus, because if Krampus came every time a kid got disillusioned by Christmas, it'd be like a Thanos snap. Boop, half the house is gone, forget it. But, she, in an animated sequence that was just brilliant, beautiful, told the story of, during the war when she had, over in the old country in English, which she had been refused to speak all her life until that one moment. And so everybody could share the story together, and then immediately went back to speaking German or whatever. But, you liked her, and, here's the only other character you like. When she stands up to Krampus to save her family, you want this moment to go down between her and Krampus. I mean, this has been 70 years in the off, and to have the toys take it just kind of, left me flat. It's like there wasn't enough Krampus in Krampus. I wanted to see, sometimes it's better not to see the character, too much. But we needed a little more, I didn't have to be seeing him like full with a, giant strobe light on him, but, just a little more Krampus so that I could get a feel for this character other than he just represents fate and he's here to punish and he's more of a verb. I wanted to see Krampus the noun a little bit, and having a mask for a face, or mask over his face, kind of threw me the first time I was watching it, because I thought that was his face, and I thought it looked bad for a face. I thought it's like, that looks like a cheap, mask or something, but that was, I think, a supposed to be thing. But, if we're going to get a close-up of Krampus, I want to see some emotion in his face. I want to see him, and I don't know, I want to see him laugh. I want to, at the horrible fate he's bestowed on them or whatever. But just a little more Krampus would have been good, a little more balance, a likable character or characters that we could have followed through the movie. Because, the horror comedy balance was just off. The first half of the movie, more comedy drama. The second half, or the middle third, was like comedy thriller-ish, drama thriller-ish, and then at the end it's just horror. They just start picking people off left, right, and center, and the characters are still doing the comedy lines, and you're like, this isn't funny anymore. Your family is getting taken left, right, and center, and very slow, like the amazingly slow deaths by the incredibly patient, like killers, was just dragging them away. And so, but overall, it's a good watch. You just don't worry about those things and get into it. It's the holidays, and it's definitely a worthy watch. A lot of people go back and forth on the ending and what it means. When spoiler alert, actually I'll put spoiler alert under this whole thing, but I'll ask the cat down the street. He has 6 fingers on each paw. He can type. I don't know where they think that Krampus is watching over them to make sure they only have good Christmases from then on in. It's pretty obvious to me from when he gets the Krampus ball and everybody gets hit with their memories and what they went through, that yes, they went through all of this, and now they're going to have to, do this Christmas Day over and over again. It's Max's wish come true, because that's what he wanted. That was what was in the letter, and they gave him everything that was in the letter, and now he's trapped with it. It's like, it's Krampus takes. He didn't bring Omi's, family back the next day, so why would they do that with Max's? No, he's in a globe in Krampus's little Jeepers Creepers hell dungeon, and with all the other families down through the years that he's taken. Maybe he only gets to take one a year. Maybe that's, why. It's like, and here's a letter from, this boy who's disillusioned, and he's a granddaughter of someone else I disillusioned. Oh, well, we're going to snatch them all then, but, yeah, that's fine. I'm pretty sure they're in snow globe hell. But anyway, talk amongst yourselves among the comments on what you thought about it and thought about the ending. Think about the Krampus folklore. It's a lot in this movie. It's interesting. It's a fun watch. I wouldn't quite call it a season classic, but it's definitely a good film, a good watch. I'll give it 3 meows out of 5, 3 claws out of 5. Still kind of working on that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this with me tonight. I do so enjoy watching this with other humans and even other cats. So I look forward to watching many more movies with you all again soon. So have a good night. Sleep well. Meow meow.